What is up guys, my name is Ignas, welcome back to the channel. Last week we had a dividend comparison on 3 names from the farm products industry, and we found one stock that had better metrics than the rest. The name is Archer-Daniels-Midland, ticker symbol ADM. In 1 year the stock is up for 6.01%, and zooming out to 5 years it is even better, plus 91.03%. Company's market cap is at $44.5 billion US, and it is now trading at a dividend yield of 2.21%. So today we'll take a deeper look into it. We'll check financials and fundamental ratios, analysts' expectations and superinvestor activity, and then also technicals of the price chart. Afterwards we'll try to determine if it's worth adding this name into our dividend portfolio, or if we should keep on looking for something else. An early thumbs up would be greatly appreciated, and with that out of the way, let's begin. So the first metric we are taking a look into is revenue, and this is here company's history for the last 5 years. Back in 2017, Archer-Daniels were bringing $61 billion on the trailing 12 months. Then a year in 2018 that increased to $64 billion. 2019 kept on going sideways at $64.7 billion, and 2020 $64.4 billion. But then with 2021 it started accelerating upwards. By the end of the year, revenue increased to $85 billion, plus 28.4% for the quarter year over year. And then in 2022, we have over $100 billion at 101.6, another increase year over year, plus 12.34%. So revenue has been moving sideways before 2021, but in the last 2 years, revenue almost doubles, from 60 to over $100 billion on the trailing 12 months. Now let's take the price to earnings ratio. So back in 2017 we had it at 12.42. Then in 2018, with the price moving sideways, the PE went a bit lower to 11.44. In 2019 we had lower earnings, so PE at 17.51. Then 2020 with earnings in line and PE at 15.25. Though after that the stock price started accelerating up, and so and even more earnings per share. So 2021 PE ratio at 13.77, and by the end of 2022, even though we saw the stock price at the all-time highs, earnings stay was there, with a PE ratio of 11.96. And even recently with the price going lower again, we now have the PE ratio at 10.58. So in the last 5 years we have seen PE going closer to 11, but with the price moving lower recently, it is now the lowest it has been over the last 5 years. Now for the next metric I would like to take the number of shares outstanding. Back in 2017 we saw it at 0.57 billion, then in 2018 lower by 0.87% to 0.567 billion shares. In 2019 another decrease to 0.565 billion, but afterwards going pretty much sideways, 2020 565. In 2021, a slight increase plus 0.18% to 566 million shares, and recently in 2022 down 0.53% to 563 million shares. So overall the number is not huge. In 5 years, ADM decreased their number of shares out by 9 million, which at the current price of $81 per share is a stock buyback of $729 million. Now let's take the best part, and these are dividends. So back in 2018 the dividend payout was $1.15 with a yield of 2.93%. Then with 2019 the payout increased to $1.23, and with the price moving lower the yield went up to 3.44%. And with the price drop in 2020, as the payout kept going up, we saw the dividend yield at the all-time highs at 4.02%. Even though afterwards the dividend payout kept on going higher, we also saw the price surging up. So in 2021 the dividend yield was 2.16%. Then 2022 with a payout of $1.51, the yield was at 1.73%. And then we had the yield bottoming by the end of 2022 with the stock price at the highs of $94.01. So we had the dividend yield there at 1.68%. Now this year we had the price moving a bit lower, and now the yield is up to 2.01%, but that is not great compared to what we have seen over the last 5 years. To further check on that, we'll use my dividend investing watchlist on Google Sheets. So we are in the watchlist and this is the tab for ADM. Here is the same dividend yield history for each quarter of the last 5 years. And we calculated that on average the stock was trading at a yield of 2.71%. So as we saw, the best time to get in was in 2020 with the dividend yield of 4.02%, which is higher than the 5-year average for 48.24%. And the worst time to get in was by the end of 2022 with 1.68%, under average for 38.05%. Even though the price has been moving lower recently, and we now have it trading at a yield of 2.21%, that is still quite there under the 5-year average, minus 18.51%. So doesn't look like the best time to get in, at least over the last 5 years. Now if you would be interested in checking this or any other dividend paying stock yourself, you are able to access this dividend watchlist by following the first link at the top of the description. Otherwise, feel free to add a ticker symbol in a comment below, and I'll consider adding that into the watchlist myself. Maybe you could share some interesting opportunity available in the market that I'm still missing. So we checked through the history, but how about expectations? At what price analysts think the stock will be trading next year? On Yahoo Finance, we have information on price targets from 12 analysts. Those targets range from the lows of $90 to the highs of $117 per share. Average on the targets comes in at $102.92, and currently the stock is trading at $81.41. This suggests that for next year, analysts expect that on average the stock price should be going up by 26.4%. Now let's take another angle. Here we have earnings per share estimates for 2024. So 14 analysts on average predict that ADM will be bringing $6.66 per share. If we assume that the P/E ratio remains the same, then we are actually looking to a decrease in the share price for next year by around 3.6%. Now the next part, I want to take a look into our Superinvestor activity. Currently ADM is being held by only one fund, that is Markel Asset Management, where they are holding 1,463,300 shares, taking up 1.82% of their portfolio. So only one fund is holding, not that much bullishness at the moment. But we can also check on the insider activity. It turns out that in the last 6 months insiders made 0 long transactions, but then managed to sell 16 times, totaling at $63.9 million. Definitely not something we want to see from insiders. Now for the last part, we'll check the chart. It seems that the last clear support was back in December of 2022. We had this huge red candle, with the price going from $98 to $91 per share, but for the next month it kept on going, together with the 50-day moving average. That changed in the beginning of this year. On January 3rd, the price dropped to under $90, under 100-day moving average, and the very next day to 86, again below the 200-day moving average. We then kept going sideways for a month, but with February a gap down to under $82, meaning that we are also under the 300-day moving average. And then there is also this bearish crossover, where the 50-day moving average went under 100. So it's not the greatest position right now. It looks like we do have a bit of a support at $8 per share, and the bearishness in the MACD is slowing down, but we already had history where that bottom didn't hold, and we are about to get another bearish crossover, where the 50-day moving average goes under 200. So I would want to wait at least a bit before getting in. So now that we checked for all the steps I wanted to take a look into, we can make a quick recap of what we found. Company's revenue has been moving sideways for a few years, but then accelerated upwards in 2021. Also in the last 2 years, earnings per share moved up consistently, so with the price to earnings of under 11, it is now the cheapest it has been in the last 5 years. Share buybacks doesn't seem to be the focus here, but they still managed to decrease that number by around 9 million. Now the dividend payout has been going up consistently, though it's still not that high that we have seen in the last 5 years, currently under the average by 18.51%. Analysts are also indifferent, where in 1 year they expect that the stock may be going up by 26.4%, or losing 3.6%. Superinvestors are also not that interested, with only one fund holding the stock, and in the last 6 months insiders have only been selling. Now looking into technicals, they are promising. Relative strength index under 50, MACD has just been turning higher, and we saw a bit of a support at $80 per share, but I wouldn't be too happy about it too quick. The previous MACD bullishness turned to be false, as the stock went lower afterwards, and we are likely getting more crosses down in the moving averages. So we checked for Archer-Daniels. They have been performing recently, but it seems they are also not the best pick going into right now. So I will be staying with my current position in Tyson Foods and keep on checking which other names could be added into the portfolio instead. What is your stance? Are you holding a position in Archer-Daniels-Midland right now? Share your opinion on it or a better pick instead in a comment below. Also, don't forget to support the channel and leave a thumbs up under the video. Last week I made a dividend comparison on a few stocks, so if you are interested in any of these, then click on a video that is currently on the screen. And that was it from my side. Thank you for watching, and I will be seeing y'all in the next one.